Sam! Sam! You're a Sam!
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine, and you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
This lovely insult has been growing in use fairly recently due to the rise of streaming and the plethora of men throwing money at attractive women and attractive online personalities. This phenomena isn't particularly new, however. Simping happens to more than just female streamers, as it happens to anyone who's admired to an excessive degree, regardless of gender, and simping can be done by both men and women. Although we can make fun of simps and simping as a whole, there's something darker going on from a mental health viewpoint that we're all not addressing here. Welcome to PsyPop. In this series, we'll be tackling how pop culture or something in pop culture has displayed a phenomenon where we can learn from it in the context of psychology and mental health. If you like the series and don't want to miss out on future episodes, don't forget to show us support by liking and subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to click on the bell icon to get a new notification whenever we post a new video. In our research, to make it as formal as possible, we searched for the definitions of simp or simping in the context of the internet. There were a variety of definitions, all calling them losers in the most fancy way possible, which I kind of don't want to do. But the most formal one I could find in this context was by Wikipedia. Simp is an internet slang term describing someone who performs excessive sympathy and attention toward another person, typically someone who doesn't reciprocate the same feelings. To analyze this, we'll be looking at simping in the context of three persons uniquely simped on in society by Yvonne. We'll look at simping for celebrities, simping for idols or VTubers, and most recently, simping for OnlyFans. Just like there are simp idols, the analysis comprises three main reasons, which I've slightly revised, on why this phenomenon exists as observed by a channel called Charisma on Command, with a video on this topic I highly recommend for all of you to watch, and the reason that I was inspired to make this video in the first place with my friends. We'll include that in the description below. These include recognition and community. The most universal point, similar to all simp for figures, was the ability to be recognized by their idol and to share that experience with others. Humans are social beings, but it's hard to get that social connection in today's world. When you share something you love together with a group of people, however, and are recognized as something more because of it, there's a sense of validation that comes from the experience. Simp idols acknowledge this trait and interact with their audience with this in mind. Celebrities have exclusive meet and greets, streamers acknowledge super chats more than generic comments, and OnlyFans creators write all of their posts as if they were referring to you as a friend rather than as an average person. These give you as a consumer more validation than you would as a non-paying customer, and the others who pay for this special interaction are normally grouped together as an even smaller, tight-knit community which is formed around people who have made the same amount of efforts as you. The second of which is dopamine hooking. OnlyFans and other similar platforms effectively provide dopamine hooks unlike pornography. This is also present in casinos and other social media sites. For example, gated silos is a tactic used by the OnlyFans site wherein you can see the number of posts by a specific creator, but you sadly can't see them. However, even upon subscribing to these creators and getting a glimpse of a few of these images, some of these posts are still blocked unless you pay a certain amount of money to view them. The captions and titles, particularly the sexualized ones, according to Charisma on Command, allowed viewers to become tempted enough to spend money simply to see it. Take note though, this applies more than just OnlyFans, as even other sites like Patreon use this tier system to hook viewers in more and more. Depending on how much money you give, you'll be given a reward in return. The anticipation to see the blurred post could also be another factor why dopamine hooks seem effective in these sites. Dopamine, actually, now that we're talking about it, is a neurotransmitter that plays an essential role in experiencing pleasure along with other factors like to maintain focus and the ability to think and plan. Dopamine helps in the following functions such as learning, motivation, sleep, mood, and even attention. Certain levels of dopamine can gravely affect one's mental health, however, particularly in the risk of developing an addictive personality disorder. As a result, these individuals can end up having an addiction to any substance or bad coping mechanism such as smoking, drugs, and most recently, streamers. Lastly, there is intimacy and guaranteed acceptance. Creating relationships could prove difficult for some people, as each person is built differently. That means that every person has their own sets of likes, traits, and hobbies. When finding a relationship, the person has to focus on these aspects, as relationships require a connection to be built on in the first place. When it comes to simps in these platforms, however, it bypasses the need of these aspects and replaces them with a monetary lock. With OnlyFans, being subscribed allows people to have a connection with their creator. It's also not limited to OnlyFans, however, as Twitch streamers specialize in chatting with their viewers and set the chat to subscribers only, which allows people to pay their way to have somebody to talk with. So, why are there so many people longing for virtual intimacy? To answer that question, we can have a look at the 2018 Cigna US Loneliness Index. And while it may only cover the United States and clearly not the rest of the world, the results are still very telling to observe. According to the index, nearly 1 in 6 of those in the US suffer from a mental health condition, with a consistent factor of these in their condition being loneliness. To echo our previous episode on friendship, loneliness has the same impact on mortality as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. With this in mind, the index found, through the surveying of 20,000 participants, concerning information that America's average loneliness score was 44, with the average score for those in Gen Z alone totaling up to 48.3, making them the loneliest generation. The loneliest generation. The loneliest generation. Millennials were not far behind at 45.3 and Gen Xers at 45.1. Feeling like people around them are not really with them, feeling shy, and feeling like no one really knows them well are among the most common feelings experienced by those in the Generation Z. It's plain to see that there's a loneliness epidemic that was already a prevailing issue even before the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, though the pandemic certainly worsened the issue. One coping mechanism that many online have resorted to is through online interaction with streamers, which itself is not an issue per se. According to Harvard's study, social networking is key towards easing loneliness. This includes connections in the physical and digital worlds. Forming a kind of connection to streamers online is one method of trying to form some kind of relationship to counter this same loneliness. The danger comes when it starts to form into a parasocial relationship instead.
Hi, hello, this is definitely Ivan talking. A parasocial relationship is a one-sided relationship, where one person extends emotional energy, interest and time, and the other party, the persona, is completely unaware of the other's existence.
So, how does one become a simp after everything we've talked about, you may ask? Well, a psychological concept that we've actually mentioned in a previous episode, the mere exposure effect, may give us an answer. In 1968, psychologist Robert Zajon proposed that repeated exposure to a stimulus can create the feeling of warmth and trustworthiness, known as the mere exposure effect. Basically, the more you're exposed to something, the more you see or watch your favorite celebrity, YouTuber, OnlyFans creator, etc., the more you'll like it, and liking increases trust and dependence as time progresses. Earlier, we talked about dopamine hooking and how social media can exploit simps into purchasing content like the aforementioned OnlyFans or the buying of meet and greet tickets with your favorite K-pop idols, or subscribing to your favorite content creator's Patreon. This action of subscribing or donating to an individual that you like will, in return, give you something that you want: acknowledgement. This back and forth will then create an illusion of a two-way relationship. You put that together with the constant exposure to their content, and you'll eventually form an addictive attachment and committed, albeit one-sided, and then voila, you'll be balls deep in Simp City. I want to touch on one more thing in this video, and it's how depression has become one of the most notable factors on why some people begin to simp, along with other mental health related issues. This is mostly due to how these affected individuals not only lack helpful and supportive relationships, but also have a low sense of self-worth. As a result, these simps use celebrities, idols, or streamers as a sort of coping mechanism to experience belongingness and security. Despite all that I've said today, I want to emphasize how this isn't the faults of these popular figures, nor are they evil for making money off of these people. I enjoy a lot of the work and personalities of different creators myself, and I'll admit the simping territories. My heart broke when Here You Go graduated. I'm not going to lie to all of you. My heart. I'm almost crying thinking about it. Whew. Most are just trying to make a living by bonding with a community. All I personally request is that you, as a viewer, don't place your value and identity on the lives of these people. You're a living, breathing person who has the potential to achieve anything. And your life should be lived to do what makes you happy. These creators are living their best life, and the one takeaway from them is not to celebrate them to be noticed by them, but to appreciate that they achieved a good life and created the great community that you're a part of. And you should make an effort to live your life as best as you can too. Comment any topic you'd like for us to tackle next. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and thank you all for watching. If we reach 1,000 views and subs, I'll make an OnlyFans just to celebrate this day. With that, thank you.